This situation actually brings back an instance from when I was in the military, and it wasn't actually a case that I was handling, but we were on call. So you have your on-call JAG, and you have your on-call phone, and if something were to happen, you know, a commander can call you or security forces can call with a question. And this particular instance, this young lady had been in Korea, and so she was there with her unit and was sexually assaulted. Well, and I know we see in the news all the time, you know, the issues with sexual assault in the military, and they're real.
It's a big issue.
It's a huge issue.
And there's been a big issue, Amber, with victims not wanting to come forward in the military too.
Yes, and some of the problem, I could go on for days actually, but some of the problem with that is when you have a unit and these people, a lot of times the sexual assaults in the military are happening within the same unit. So it'd be the same as, you know, someone in, you know, working for Office Depot sexually assaulting someone that works at Office Depot, and that's where you go every single day for your work to make your living, and that's your life. And they're in that same, you know, close quarters. And so that's one of the things I think that makes the military so difficult, because then what happens, what do you do? And so for this particular young lady, she had been separated from her unit instead of the young man separated from the unit because they were in the same unit. Well, long story short, because of the impact of the incident, she tried to harm herself. And she ends up getting sent back to the States, and she was actually where I was. And she's back with her home unit, and it happens again. Because of all the pressure, because the prosecution's going to be coming up, and again, it wasn't one that I was prosecuting, it wasn't my unit. But when the commander found out that she was, you know, going through these issues, the first thing they thought of was, let's call the on-call JAG, I've got to get her committed into a hospital. Like, it's got to be done now, take her now. And it sounds a lot like that's what happened with your client, is there's not that take a step back, how can we actually address what the issue is? Because the issue, I mean, if she's in court testifying and she's being prepared for this case, your client, then she's participating. You know, she's wanting this to go forward, at least voluntarily. Yeah. And if there's the knowledge that she has this mental health issue, and all of the pressure of it is actually bubbling and it's coming to the surface, then the same thing that happened with the young lady in the military, you've got to take that step back initially and say, how can we address this problem, rather than scoop them up and throw them behind closed doors and forget about them. Like that quick fix isn't a fix.